So what's the real deal behind sky-high airfares at Jackson Evers lately? The unfair airfare is one of the driving forces behind the takeover bill. Commuters have long complained about the cost to fly, some even traveling as far as Memphis and New Orleans to get a reasonable flight out. Proponents of the bill blame JMA. Opponents of the bill blame the airlines. So who's telling the truth? Truthfully, both. Here's how it works. It is true that the airlines make their own prices and the airport has no say. However, JMA is directly responsible for creating competition amongst the airlines. Competition indirectly regulates the airfares the airline passes on to you, the passenger. More on that in a moment. Meantime, JAN CEO Carl Newman tells me that the size of the airport has a bearing on the prices as well. Bigger airports have more passengers and more demand, which means lower prices.
We are what is called an O&D airport, so an origination and destination airport. And so people that are flying through here are either departing here to go someplace else or arriving here and this is their destination. Airports in those categories pay a little bit of or airports in those categories, the passengers pay a little bit of a higher premium in order to fly there.
In order to fly out of Jackson, passengers have to choose between the big three: American, Delta, and United Airlines. When Southwest Airlines pulled out of Jackson in 2014, JMA asked the big three to increase their flights and services to fill the void. And that they did, but ticket prices have gotten a little higher, and foot traffic at the terminal has gotten a little slower.
When they left here, they had a load factor of 66%. Airlines, typically, shoot for a percentage in the mid-80s on into the 90% range. And so Southwest was not meeting its own projections in terms of what they wanted to achieve, with their service here. They also have made a decision to change its business model. And so Southwest Airlines now is going into larger cities. You also see them going and providing service on an international basis. So a lot kind of goes into a decision like that.
The Southwest Airlines is a low-cost carrier airline. When they were in Jackson, they arguably kept prices among the other carriers at a more stable rate. Since Southwest's departure, JMA has struggled to get another low-cost carrier into Jackson. Newman tells me they are continuing to have conversations with Nevada-based Allegiant Air. Those talks started before he took office a year ago.
A lot of attention on Allegiant, a lot of competition for them. They have limited resources, and so we've not been able to, get them across the line at this point in time. But we continue to work on that effort.
Yeah, how confident do you think they might sign on?
And I would say that's probably 50-50 at this point in time.
Bad news for travelers, but JMA is working on other options as well. Newman says they've hired a consultant to tap other airlines.
We're working with Innovistas right now to figure out where people really want to go in terms of additional cities. How frequently do they want to go to determine the frequency of flights that are needed here, and who are the best airlines or firms to focus on in terms of bringing in additional service to the airport.
On the plus side, Newman tells us the airport is financially stable, raking in over $3 million in surplus over the last few years. JAN is also getting ready to make improvements to both runways.
We're probably going to be around $2.5 million this year, just looking at our budget projections and so forth.
Stay with us as we continue to follow the developments on this controversial story. For now in Jackson, I'm Eric Walker, JSU-TV. I'm sorry? He told me to come over here.
Whatever you shot over there, you got fresh today? You got fresh today?